Remember a couple of weeks ago when we didn't know that Daniel Andrews was a dictator? And I could spend my time making fun of AM talk radio shock jocks like Marcus Prawn. Ooh, he doesn't like that, does he? Anyway, the point is, he forced me onto his show. I said I wouldn't do it unless he wore a Super Barrelaro Bros shirt. What can I say? The guy's a good sport. Here's our very intelligent exchange between me and clearly me in 15 years.
Breakfast with Marcus Paul.
All right, and even my old mate Scruff over there got in on the act, didn't you?
Oh, yes, I did.
You transferred a bit of audio. I thought I was playing just a regular, call us now, and then this popped up, of course.
You're listening to Prawny. Like the Yamba prawn? Sorry, Marcus. Call Prawny now, 13 12 69.
Very funny. So, without further ado...
I found him.
Good, excellent. Well, I mean, you know what it's like, these stars. 8 o'clock's very early in the morning for them. So good morning, or should that be perhaps good prawning to any of the extra listeners we might have on board this morning after we embarked on our shameless pursuit to connect our growing little show to one of Australia's most popular YouTube and social media stars, Jordan Shanks, a.k.a. Friendly Jordies, a.k.a. Buzz Lightyear. Jordan, good morning.
How many intros did you guys have?
Probably a few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, you guys went to town on that.
Well, why not?
Far out. Thanks for clipping my entire video of you and mixing it around,
Yeah, well, I mean, it's good content. We share it once you've put it up there, and as you've said, and you've quite openly said on your videos previously that, plagiarism is an art form, and you've done it, haven't you?
Well, yeah, I made a career of it, and it sounds like you have too.
Why not? So, look, mate, thank you for joining us. It's been fun. I've spoken to some fairly highfalutin people before, in this gig, but I don't think I've ever been quite so nervous. I don't know where this is going to go. But let's start with...
I don't know. I heard you talk to Jackie O.
Yeah, well,
hey. You were rattly then.
Well, I was. But have you seen her? I mean... All right, let's start with the big issues first.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
The biggest issue, of course, is why do you call me a prawn?
We've been through this, Marcus, because you look like one. Look, just go to Coles.
Yep.
Check out just a normal king prawn, then look at yourself. And then take the crown off its head because you've earned it. You're the king of prawns.
Well, I don't know whether it's obviously an insult, isn't it? It's not meant to be it's not an endearing term, is it, or what?
I don't know. I like prawns. Do you?
Well, I love them with a bit of sauce, in particular cocktail sauce. They go okay. But I was a bit worried.
That's you at a jacuzzi.
Thank you. I was a bit worried when you called me a prawn that maybe it was referring to me being spineless. I mean, I'm far from spineless. I love speaking my mind, and Well, if you're a talkback host, yes,
and you're spineless, how long would you last?
Well,
I suppose you'd have a job on the ABC, but in the commercial realm, you just get eaten alive like the prawn you are. But it's a pure appearance comparison.
Well, thank you.
70% of my jokes, as you figured out.
Yes. Well, they're good. They're good. Well, look, I can throw a little bit back if you don't mind, if that's okay.
Okay.
See, because
Yep.
the photographs, look, you're a good-looking geezer, and that's from that's just a point of view. Well, you are. I mean, look at your background. You used to be an international model, for God's sake. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. It is. For a long time as well.
Really? From what age? Yeah. What age were you modelling from, Jordan?
God, probably from 19 to 26. Something like that.
Oh, okay. So, and you modelled with some fairly big fashion houses too, is that right?
Yeah, I have. But I can't really remember them anymore. It's all just a blur because of how fast my life was.
All right. Well, I've been told, and somebody told me it must be the chin. I mean, to be a good model, you need to have a big chin. And look, let's be honest, your chin probably is big enough to have its own postcode. So,
for Christ's
sake. I've put up...
I just woke up.
Shush. I put up two pictures. I put up a picture of you, a very good-looking rooster. Right next to you, we've got a picture of Buzz Lightyear. And the comparison is uncanny. Hang on. No, it is. I'm serious. It is uncanny.
In fact, you're a better buzz than I am.
I mean, what was that, sorry?
In fact, you're a better buzz than I am.
And the other thing that a few of your millions of followers have actually said, Jordan, is that if you looked in a mirror, not only would you see Buzz Lightyear, but if you fast forwarded maybe a decade or so, there's 15 years difference, I guess, a little bit more perhaps. No, about 15, 16 years between you and I, without giving our ages away.
Really? Is that all?
That's it. But see, the
Jeez,
thing is,
Marcus.
people say that we perhaps look a little alike, and I thought that we might share something this morning on...
Surrender, Buzz Lightyear. I have won.
I'll never give in. You killed my father.
No, Buzz. I am your father.
So friendly. Maybe it just is that I am your father, Bruz.
You know, it probably wouldn't surprise me, Bruz, because, yeah, now that I think about it, you do look a lot like my dad. And I don't know what he does these days. I mean, it's not like one of those sob stories where he just left for cigarettes at 3 or whatever, but, he claims he's in Coffs Harbour.
Right, okay.
Maybe you're just putting on like a little Alan Jonesy voice and then you just sign off to 2SEM in the mornings.
Sounds good to me.
It is actually pretty uncanny now to think about it. You know what?
Yeah.
This is an exclusive for you.
Yeah.
I'm going to put up on my Facebook a comparison of my dad and you.
I like it. That's not a bad idea. And by the way, our conversation right now is being broadcast in Coffs Harbour, a local station up there. One of our network stations takes the full, this whole show. So good morning to you, Mr. Shanks. If you're out there, Jordan would like a chat. Is that right, or?
Well, look, maybe, but you're still going to have to convince me that it's not you first. This is all coming together now. On a radio station that just broadcasts in Sydney and Coffs Harbour, I'm assuming.
No, we go all up and down the Australian East Coast. We go into the central west of New South Wales as well.
Yeah, good cover story.
Well, it's true. Anyway,
okay, well, if you say so.
No, well, I've got the figures here if you want to have a look. I mean, I don't have an audience the size of yours. Why do you think I'm talking to you? So you obviously do a lot of research and hard work putting together your videos, which are extremely popular, and your parodies. How do you actually choose the content that you're going to do, Jordan?
Whatever's most important, which is usually, in fact, I would say always, not what is reported in the papers.
Yep.
And that's pretty much how it goes.
So you're feeling...
It's pretty much just a thing of like, I look around, there's a few sources that you usually come up with the goods, like Independent Australia and Michael West.
Yep.
And that's because they have time to do investigative journalism.
Yes.
And obviously it's never going to get picked up by the major papers and or networks.
Well, sadly, these days, no. And because it's more about getting, clickbaits and quick reads and all the rest of it, which is the way that I guess mainstream media's gone. Is that why you try and steer clear of the mainstream media these days?
No, it's not just that. It's also the fact that there is a clear agenda that is set out by the mainstream media and has been since the beginning of its inception, which is to just cozy up and protect power. And if you're a journalist, that is the exact opposite of what you should be doing.
Well, absolutely.
I mean, if you look at what's happened to how the press reports today, and that is part of it, what you're saying is that there's just this constant rush for getting clicks, but this has just been a case that has happened since the inception of journalism, is that pretty much all of the news that comes out on the front pages and then goes out to the radio stations and then goes out to the 6 o'clock news, it all starts with 7 people that sit in a Canberra press gallery and they get their announcements from the government every day. And if they don't report what the government says, then they don't get access to the story the next day. So it's just this continuous loop of whatever the government wants you to hear and see is what you see.
I think in this gig we call that leaks, and they are usually, as you would imagine, and I think you've touched on this, the leaks that are sent to journalists and their favourites generally are something important, a big story that's going to break the next day. And if they give it to this paper first or to this organisation, news organisation first, Jordan, then it's highly likely they'll write a more favourable article or do a more favourable story on it because they've been given the favour of the leak.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, it's just how movie reviews work, right? It's
Yeah.
like, I think that's the best way for people to understand it, because a lot of people find it really hard to understand this process. That, oh, no, wait, but I thought the journalists were there to uncover the truth. No, it's just the same as movie reviewers. If a movie reviewer gives Marvel a bad movie review, they're not going to be sitting in the cinema the next time.
Yes.
Exactly the same way that it works in the press.
All right. Well, how about we move on to a couple of other things? A quick survey.
Okay.
Have you got time? Is that okay? I mean, I know you're an extremely...
Oh, well, yeah, I'm an extremely busy man, Marcus. I
Yes.
make 3 videos a week, you
I
know?
know.
So I have to talk for 30 minutes.
All right. I'm going to throw...
Yeah,
Shut up. I'm going to throw a bunch of names or issues at you, and I want your thoughts, okay? First of all, COVID-19. Your thoughts in 30-odd seconds on that, or whatever you want.
Scott Morrison bunged it from the beginning. We had the opportunity to end up like New Zealand, but because basically he's not a government, he's just a consultancy firm for corporations. They wanted the borders open for as long as possible, and that's why we had the 9th highest COVID rates in the world after, when you exclude Europe, because obviously that was just a S show. And so, yeah, like I think that what's happened with COVID is the story of what happens with virtually everything else that occurs on a federal government level. It was just a secession to corporate power.
Gladys Berejiklian and John Bruz Barilaro.
That is my thoughts on them. Just a laugh.
That's
Those
it.
guy's a clown. I mean, look, I feel so good saying clown on AM radio, the home of saying that insult. But yeah, they are. Look, okay, Gladys Berejiklian, I think that she's a really good face for the Liberal Party, but that is what is so dangerous about her, because she is just as transactional, just as soulless as the rest of them. And I think John Barilaro is just a hilarious idiot.
You've hashtagged them as koala killer. Why have you hashtagged both the Premier and Deputy Premier of New South Wales koala killers?
Because that's what they do. They have cleared, since getting into government, they got rid of Labor's biodiversity laws. Oh, well, you know, they mangled them. And ever since they did that, land clearing has gone up 1,300%. Now, previously, when Carr won election when Carr gained office, they passed those laws. It reduced land clearing by 88-fold. As soon as they were out, the Liberals got rid of those laws, up 1,300%. Now, when you do that, you obviously push a lot of endangered species to the brink of extinction, which is exactly what's happened. The number of endangered species in this country, just in this state, has gone up to 1,000, over 1,000. And included in that is koalas. And they'll put out all of these little grants, like I think it was their $40 million koala grant, but it's exactly what happened in Queensland. All of this money just goes out to their mates in sort of just a sick, perverse pork barreling. It doesn't go to purchasing any particularly, important land for koalas. And, it's a sad state of affairs, but that is what Liberals do when they get into government. They just completely mangle the environment, and it is starting to have dividends on our agriculture.
Yep.
You can't just keep ploughing the environment like that and not expect like soil quality to start diminishing, which is what's been happening especially over the last couple of decades. This will start impacting. The chickens will come home to roost.
All right, what about this? Oh, God, just imagine what you're going to say about the government's handling of water storage and allocation. I know you've been speaking. Well, we speak also to Helen Dalton on a regular basis on this program. I know you've caught up with her in the last few weeks. I mean, she's on the right track here. There should be no way on earth that we should be treating water as a commodity, Jordy, that's available to those with the deepest pockets.
No, that's... Look, there's a lot of things that I could describe as evil that happen in the chambers of power. But I think, exactly as you said it, turning water into a commodity, the basic building block of life, and then saying that this person owns that. Pure evil. Now, we've got a huge documentary coming out about exactly that, actually. It's in the works now, so I won't give too much away. But essentially what you're saying is right. Do you want to live in a country where the Murray-Darling and all of this stuff about the fish kills that were happening last year, the amount of water flow that was happening, how they were blaming it all on drought. Yeah, that's true. Droughts come and go in Australia. There's been mega droughts because of climate change, but the key important take-home here is that water in the Murray-Darling would have been fine. It would have been flowing fine if it wasn't for this, exactly what you've turned into, this commodification of water. And as a result of commodifying our water, essentially what's happened is 10% of it is now owned by Chinese investment firms. I think another close to 10% is owned by US and Canadian investment firms. We've essentially turned it into a stock market. I don't know.
No,
I think there's probably a better way to manage it than that, right? Surely.
There should be, and it shouldn't be mum and dad, small farming operations that are having to fight tooth and nail to get their fair share of the Murray-Darling, what is left of it, after fish kills and other things. All right, mate, we could talk all day on this stuff. What we would like to do, Jordan, is we would like to form a relationship with you. I'm going to put you on the spot here. Would you like to have a regular chat on the program?
Well, do I have to get up at 8? Can't we just pre-record it?
We can do that if you like, yes. I can do that.
Hey, you know what? Yeah, well, that sounded a lot better to me.
All right, okay, because I know 8 o'clock for you is like, well, I mean, I'm up at 2:30 every morning.
Yeah, okay. So it's like 1 a.m. for me.
All right. Well, why don't we do that, mate? I'll have my people, not that I have people. I know you've got people. You've got lots of people helping you, looking after you.
Oh, yeah, I have a lot of loyal little minion rats. That's true.
Half you like, how do I get a hold of people like that? What do I have to do? I need to learn.
You know what I think you need to do?
Get an audience first?
You need to start... Well, yeah, that's a very good start. You're learning, Marcus.
Thank you.
The second one, I guess, is that you got to start being extremely mean, borderline bullying politicians.
All right. Well, look, I do try. Look, and can you? I want to just put this out there while I've got you on the program. How frustrating is it for me that I cannot get, for some odd reason, either the Prime Minister or the Premier of the state and the country on this program? We're broadcasting in Sydney. We probably reach a couple 100,000 people a week, but they won't come on, Jordan. And I can tell you why, because they don't like some of the questions I might ask.
Is that actually the case? It's not just because no one's listening.
No, it's because I want people... Well, what do you mean no one's listening? They're coming over from the other...
I forgot that we were even talking to anyone. I thought I was just on the phone with my dad.
Well, you are, after all.
Yeah, exactly.
All right,
I knew it.
All right, buddy.
Damn it, Terry.
Surrender, Buzz Lightyear. I have won.
I'll never give in. You killed my father.
No, Buzz. I am your father.
All right, I've got to go, mate. I got the news. Waits for no man, including friendly Jordies. We'll talk next week, hey? Let's do it.
All right.
See ya.
See you, Brawny.
Please share and comment below. Comment.